Live video is starting. Mic check, everything's going good. Just very quickly, just make sure that I'm in the event. Slowly let people join us, and then we'll get started. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Great to see you again. My name's Andrew Folkler. I'll be hosting our Facebook Live for tonight. I'm just going to give people a few more moments, maybe another minute or so, just to pop in, and then I'll get started with my presentation. Welcome everybody. We're gonna give them maybe another 30 seconds, and then I'll get started with this presentation. If you want to grab something to drink real quick before you sit down, and we'll get this party started now. Hey Sherry, great to see you here, and absolutely happy to help. All right, let's see what we get. Yeah, we got about 14 people here. All right, awesome. All righty. I'm going to get started. Of course, this whole presentation is recorded, so on the off chance that somebody is catching us after the live, great to see you. Once again, my name's Andrew Folkler. I am a formerly alienated child, and I reunited with my mother right around the time when I was 18. This was about a 13-year gap. So like I was alienated for about 12 and a half, almost 13 years. And I'm here to support Ginger and I'm here for another Facebook Live. I did do one not too long ago. I want to say early December, like maybe the first week of December, I did one on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely check that out sometime after this video. So today's video or today's presentation, I would say, is going to be about the knowledge gap versus the doing gap. It's a bit of a controversial topic, and I know that it goes against what you might expect. And my intention here is to try and give you an alternate perspective that will give you put the reins back into your hands, make you feel like you have power to do something. Because well, let's face it, alienation puts everyone in a spot where they feel like they just don't have that control. They feel like, everything's just everything is just externally happening to them, and they're just caught in this whirlwind of events and they don't know what to do. In Often in those states, one of the first things that we do as people, like our natural reaction when something just blindsides us, is there's this desire to learn everything possible about that specific topic. And the reason why I would advise against this is that it doesn't actually help you in the long run. Because let me paint you a picture of what this can look like. Maybe when the alienation first starts and someone first tells you about parental alienation, and then you go down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out, okay, what's parental alienation? Where did it come from? Then you find out that it was coined in the 1970s by Richard Gardner, and he had parental alienation syndrome. And then you dig a little bit deeper and you find out, well, Richard Gardner was a controversial figure, and now you start to wonder, well, now they call it parental alienation or just PA. We're not, do we abandon the syndrome part? Like, what's going on here? And and as you dig deeper into that, you realize that that doesn't really take you anywhere. Maybe you follow other experts out there, like, for example, Dr. Childress likes to talk about, I think it's Salvador Minuchin's structural family therapy. He's definitely a big advocate of that. And then you go down that rabbit hole and you wonder, like, okay, how does all of this work? Maybe your ex was a really toxic person and you're learning all about the different types of narcissism out there, and you're trying to identify which one is which category would your ex fall into. And so here's the challenge with all of this. The challenge with a lot of this is that none of that really gives you anything to hold on to. None of that gives you any feedback into how you can connect with your child. Because most of these people, most of the experts out there spend a majority of their time arguing semantics and definitions. Like is it parental alienation? Is it estrangement? Is it enmeshment? Is it family bond obstruction? Like, and I'm going to tell you right now, none of those definitions matter. Like in the grand scheme of your relationship with your child, definitions don't matter, semantics don't matter. All we have right here is your child has been poisoned against you because of a toxic parent. So, with all of that, a lot of parents just feel overwhelmed because they're digging into all of this science, all of this psychology and psychiatry, and they're trying to figure out what's going on and how to interact with their kid. But it's at most what it will do is it'll provide context to what has happened to you, but it won't help you with connecting with your kid. I mean, I can understand the benefit of providing context for yourself, but in the long run, you're going to have to shift gears to other skills and other knowledge that will help you connect with your kid. And I'll get to that part in just a moment. The thing is, the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a position where you're playing the role of a clinical psychologist without going through the educational process. Otherwise you're just another person focusing on giving an unlicensed diagnosis about your ex. And it's not meant to be an offensive thing, because I understand there's a lot of toxic people out there. There's a lot of hurtful people out there. And yes, it does provide closure to you when you find out that you're a victim of a form of abuse by somebody who has um, various either personality disorders or certain traits that are just unhealthy. The challenge again is when you're trying to connect with your kid, your kid's not going to respond to that. They're not going to be interested in all the theory and all the psychology that goes around it. If you told your kid that they're being scapegoated, or they're a golden child, or there's some kind of emotional incest or parentification going on, they're not going to care. Like for them, the only thing that matters to them, the only thing that matters to your kid is that, hey, like I'm mad at you and I don't want to talk to you. And that's all that's on their mind. And with all of that, they're not going to be interested in all the theory and all the you could say the facts. So based off of that, it puts you in a situation where you've got all this knowledge, all of this knowledge, all of this background information. It might help provide context, but it doesn't give you the tools you need to communicate with your kid. It doesn't give you the tools to connect with them or break through the emotional barriers that they've got set up. And so that is what is going to lead me to how do you break through that barrier? How do you connect with them? There's a really good video out there that I remember when I first watched it, I was a little bit skeptical. But over the last few years, I've seen it again and again, and it's kind of given me a new perspective on human communication. You might have seen this video before. This video is titled "It's Not About the Nail." Just to give you a quick summary of it, because I can't play the video here. There's a couple, and the woman is telling her partner how she's got this pain in her head and it's just stressful and it's irritating and she can't handle it. And then finally the camera pans over to her head and you see there's a nail just sticking right out on her forehead. And the guy is looking at her, just saying, "Well, maybe we should take the nail out, and that would solve the problem." And she's like, and she gets mad. She gets so unhappy. She's just like, "No, you're not listening to me. It's not about the nail. You need to listen to me. I'm struggling right now. I need help." And the guy's like, "Well, I'm pretty sure if you took the nail out that it would make all the pain go away." And then they get frustrated with each other because there's this communication barrier. Now, usually this video is used when as a satirical way of talking about gender dynamics and in relationship communication. And I want to put that aside for a bit because that's not what I'm here to focus on. And what I'm here to focus on is the idea that sometimes when people are in pain, they can't see everything clearly. Sometimes when you are stressed and you are tired and or you have this thing that's looming over your head, you can't see the whole picture. A huge part of your emotional, your mental, and your physical faculties are all being directed to the stress that you're experiencing. And as a result, the most logical solution might not be the right solution at that moment. And I don't want to discredit that because, I'm a logical guy. I'm a problem solver. I'm the kind of guy that would be saying, "Hey, take the nail out of your head, and the pain will go away." But the thing is, there's a specific time for when the logical solution can be presented in order for them to be ready to accept that solution, if that makes sense. And in this case, the nail is parental alienation. Your kid doesn't know what it is. Your kid definitely cannot see it. But they've got this nail in their head, right? It's causing them pain, it's causing them frustration, and in this case, they think you're the cause of the pain, which is the most unfortunate part. And so this is also why I would say it's such a terrible idea to tell your kid that they are alienated, because in this case, they're going to react, with venom and vitriol because they feel like you're not listening to them. They feel like you're telling them a narrative that goes against what they believe, and they're just going to get more and more frustrated. If you imagine, for example, you're sitting at a dinner table and you tell that one family member who has opposite political views to you, that you tell them they're brainwashed, they're lied to, their leadership is taking advantage of them, their belief system is going to ruin their life, everything they listen to is propaganda. I mean, what's going to happen? What ends up happening is there's this huge backlash, this huge kickback, because they are already set in this certain perspective, and they're going to be like, "No, you're brainwashed, you're lying, your leadership is taking advantage of you, you're listening to all the wrong stuff." And as a result, that is where there's so much disconnect in terms of the communication. Nobody's actually debating anymore. Everybody's just fighting about who's right and who's wrong. And so again, it's not about the nail. It's not about the details and layers of parental alienation. What it's going to come down to is taking action in a way that will help you connect with your kid. So I'm a big fan of action items. So that's what the next part of my presentation is going to be is, and it's really coming down to building the basic skills that strengthen relationships in general. Bruce Lee would say, I fear not the man who has done 10,000 different types of punches, but the man who has done one punch 10,000 times. So again, fundamentals are what help you win here. And instead of focusing on learning everything in psychology and psychiatry or alienation, law, or other specialized areas, I would strongly, strongly encourage focusing on skills like communication, leadership, building your self-esteem and strength, and doing things that will strengthen your position as a parent. And a lot of that ties into the last presentation I did on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, because when your needs are met, you're able to show up your best. And then you can start working on those skills like communication, leadership, empathy, emotional awareness, because those are the muscles that you're going to be using the most when you're communicating with your alienated child. Because think about it, when your kid is angry with you, what do you have to manage that anger somehow. When your kid is saying something hurtful or they're testing boundaries, you have to be strong enough to manage that, and in a way be that will be respectful to both of your boundaries, but also in a way that doesn't escalate the conflict into something completely unmanageable. So you already know right off the bat, your kid's going to be hurtful. They're going to be angry. Some of them might just shut down completely and not communicate at all. And all of these skills can help you find ways to either pull out their inner self in a way, try and pull out them from their shell so that they'll communicate with you. And from there, you'd at least be able to have something that you can hold on to where you feel like you actually know your kid. There's a really great quote from a Wes Anderson film. It's called Grand Budapest Hotel. I quote it all the time because I do a lot of customer service related work. The main character, Monsieur Gustave, he's a hotel concierge. He's training his apprentice, and at night he gives nightly sermons. And one of his sermons goes like this: He says, "Rudeness is merely an expression of fear. People fear that they won't get what they want, and the most dreadful and unattractive person only needs to be loved, and they will open up like a flower." It's it's a pretty vibrant quote, and that is pretty much the parameters or the context I want to set for how you would communicate with your child. Because again, with all that anger, with all that frustration, with all that hatred that they're going to be projecting out at you, you have to openly receive that and give them the love via your communication, so that they will see that well, in a way, it's like they're shooting fire at you, and you need to adopt a water-like approach. You have to absorb the impact of the fire, but you are basically extinguishing it in the process. So, with all of that said, that's a lot of theory. How do you communicate with your kids? I am a big fan of Gary Chapman's 5 love languages. I think that's a great starting point. Um, excuse me. What are 5 love languages? Do a quick recap. You got words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, gifts, and physical touch. Now, some of these are not going to be an available option for you right now. Maybe some of you might be, physically cut off from your kids, which cuts off things like quality time and physical touch. Some of you might have trouble communicating with your kids because there's just absolutely no contact, and basically annihilating all of them. So it's going to vary for everybody. But what I would encourage is, with these five love languages, try and look for different ways you can show your love via those five, and maybe if you need like you got a journal or something like that, and you want to write down, just completely brainstorm these different ideas you've got for these different five love languages. Words of affirmation, if you have that opportunity to talk to them, you tell them things like, I'm proud of you, I love you, I'm always here for you, I'm always here to support you, you're going to go far in life, I know you're going to do amazing. Little words of affirmation can go a long way. And so that'd be one example. Acts of service, there are different things that you could do. What if you're a mechanical person, I don't know, change the oil of your kid's car. Basically, small little things that you can do to support them and give them the just a small gesture to show them that your time with them is you're willing to spend your time on them. Quality time is pretty self-explanatory. That one's probably going to be the hardest one to get, especially if you are really disconnected with your kid. But it's definitely one to try and brainstorm. If you know specific interests that your alienated child has, maybe they like a certain band and you want to buy concert tickets, for example. You can try things like that. Gifts don't have to be things that are expensive. In fact, some of the best, as you know, it's a common cliche, but some of the best gifts are the ones that don't cost money. For example, maybe you're into music and you want to record a video of you playing music and send that. That's a gift. That's something where you're sending a part of yourself to your kid. And physical touch, of course, hugs, kisses, fist bumps, pats on the back, all of that good stuff, uh, can when the opportunity presents itself. Um, but now I'm running short of time, so I want to cover a few more possible ideas, just kind of blast them out there for you, because we're coming to the end of 2024. And I want to give you guys as much as possible so that you can start 2024 strong. Uh, or actually, I think I said 20. I meant 2023. We're coming to the end of 2023. 2024 is coming up soon, and I want to let's start the year strong. So some things that you could do, especially over the holidays with for your kids, that would give you the control back in your hands, because all of that data that I was talking about earlier won't help you. It gives you context, but it doesn't help you. So one thing you could do, for example, is if you're a fan of if you're somebody who likes to write, you could create a email address for your kid, and then send emails to that address. And when the time comes and you feel ready to open that communication with them, you could give them the keys to that, password and the address, so that they could read it. This is a great thing you can do if you have no contact. So it gives the feeling of, if you're consistently sending, and it doesn't have to be daily, maybe an email every couple of days or every week, or even monthly. I mean, just consistently sending emails, birthdays, holiday wishes, things like that. You can include your kid in your life, at least through that medium of reading. That is just one idea. Another thing you could do, especially if you're especially if financially, if it's feasible. I mean, obviously, I want to put that disclaimer out there. If you're struggling financially, make sure you knock that out first. You take care of that first, because you got to take care of you first. But if finances are something that you have stable, you could create a 529 college savings fund. I don't think you need the other parent to set that up. And when the kid is 18, you can hand them the keys. You don't have to worry about whether your ex is going to spend that money. At least you have that option of uh, supporting them in their higher education, because as I'm sure you're all aware, that stuff's really expensive. Um, Another thing you can do, this is more along the lines of self-care, is enjoy the holidays with the people that you love. Because if you're alone and dejected and not feeling good during the holidays, you're not going to create an environment that's warm and festive that would welcome your kid in the future. Uh, you want to constantly cultivate positive energy within yourself because that energy will radiate out to your kid. And it's going to take a lot of positive energy before they realize you're not faking it, right? So when it comes to things like holidays or just general weekends, whatever you're doing over the course of your or over the course of your week, try and engage in some level of self-care. I've got one more. Volunteer in your community. If that's something that if there's a cause you feel passionate about, whether it's like animal shelter and a local cancer organization or Rotary or something or BNI, whatever it is, whatever local communities that you could participate in, find a group that you could be a part of and contribute to the betterment of the community because at least it gives you something to hold on to because I think one of the harder things that happens with alienation is that it kills everyone's self-confidence. They're like, well, I'm not even a good parent because I never get to be around my kid. And that's not true. That's the negative talk in the back of your head telling you that you're not good enough. But the reality is you are good enough. You are somebody worth being around. It's just there are some really hurtful people out there that are willing to go to extremes to hurt you. Um, so with all of that, I do hope that helps. I'm going to hop onto a coaching call in just a few minutes. I just realized I totally forgot to plug in Ginger's program. Ginger is doing a program for uh, helping you reunite with your kids, and it's called. You can find it on reverseparentalalienation.com. Program's $4.99, and I believe it's in the comments below. You can find that. I'm gonna just quickly scroll through comments just to make sure I don't miss anybody or any questions. Let's see. Uh, see, is there a link? Okay. Thank you, Kevin, for finding the link. And see, Suzanne, I write an email every Sunday night, call it Sunday Notes. That's beautiful. That's really good to hear. Bobby Berg, college fund might not be the best idea. Son is 18, 19 and wants absolutely nothing to do with college. Totally understand. I believe right now learning a trade. Trade is great. I don't know what it would take to support that, but I mean, like, I would just kind of explore those options, just see where it takes you, because you never know. Let's see, Rob. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the love. But yeah, like the sky's the limit. Just like I said before, I use Gary Chapman's five love languages as a baseline. Just kind of ask myself, what are some words of affirmation I can say? What are some gifts I can give? Jacqueline, can we rewatch this event? Absolutely. There should be a recording that will show up on the Erasing Family Facebook page, and I know Ginger will put it on her YouTube as well, because I know I was talking super fast. How much is too many emails when they haven't responded in 5 years? Well, I mean, there's really, I guess you you could probably do like an email a day if you wanted to. The idea is it's the gesture of consistency, right? You want to show that you were always there no matter what. And I think that's going to be more impactful than the number of emails. Obviously, you don't want to overkill it and do like 5 emails a day and, just like, hey, here's 1,000 emails. But something to consider. This happened to my daughter. Still give her the money. Other uses, there's IRS penalty if not used for college, but the funds are under the parent's control. Yep. All right. I am going to have to hop off and jump onto a coaching call. Once again, if you would like to join, you're welcome to. You just sign up on Ginger's website, reverseparentalalienation.com, and I hope to see you there.